Welcome back, everybody. It's another Tuesday night. If this is your first time joining us, I'm Sly, and we just get together on Tuesday night and talk about whatever comes up. And make sure everything so the thing about live streams is something always happens. And so I wanted to make sure that that's not what I wanted. That I've got everything set up because I'm not seeing everything. But that's okay. It will come, maybe. I am live, I think. So we'll see. I don't see a chat window, so I'm not sure what's going on with that. I'm sure it's user error. Oh, here we go. There it is. Yeah, it was user error. It was me. So, I hope everybody had a fantastic week. And let's see if I can get some of these up here. So let's see if everything's working, right? Sound good? Yeah. Um, I had kind of a scare because I tend to set everything up a little bit early, and I came back in and there was like this huge delay. So I wanted to make sure, so I had to turn everything off and restart and all this stuff. I wanted to make sure everything was up and going like it's supposed to be. And Scott is the first one in. Uh, Cheers. Thank goodness for the notifications. Did it wake you up? I think there's been a couple of nights where you might have fallen asleep, probably in your lazy boy. I always forget. Tuesday night is kind of hard to remember. In fact, I even still in my head, I still think of it as Friday night. And so if I slip and say Friday, I really am aware it's Tuesday. But um, yeah, it's just kind of a mind thing. It's like this is supposed to be on Friday nights, not Tuesday nights. But here we are. And there is Roy from down under. Good day, Sly. Good day, Roy. How are you? How was your week, sir? Um, so one of the things, and I don't, Scott, I don't think you have a YouTube channel. If you do, I'm not aware of it. And Roy, same. But one of the things that I wanted, so a lot happened this week. Some good, some not so good. I had a backed up sink that I poured drain cleaner down and drain cleaner down, and I got a snake and I tried to snake it and just the whole thing, and I could not get it unclogged. So I had the landlady, or my daughter had the landlady, call the plumber to come out, and it turns out that he got the clog done, no problem, but the garbage disposal was leaking. So this guy left. I wish I had put the picture up to show you. This guy left and left me with two bowls under my sink to catch the leak, and said if I wanted him to come back and put in a garbage disposal, it would be another service call, and it wasn't included in clearing the drain. Needless to say, I was not a very happy camper because that's not how you treat people. Um, but it is what it is. So when he left, the sink drained, but it leaked. And I felt like, as a businessman, he should not have done that. That he should have had that sink, no leaks, completely working before he left. But that's just me. So his helper, though, was interested in starting a YouTube channel. And so as I got to talking to him about it, I thought, I get asked this question a lot. If I was to start a YouTube channel, how would I get subscribers? That's like their number one thing, is how do you get subscribers? And there's two kind of videos. I put them in two different groups. You have your evergreen and your not evergreen. Okay? Your not evergreen is like, if you do like, let's say I did a video on my original Osmo Action. It's 2019. The camera just came out and I'm super excited about it. It's a fantastic camera and I'm going to make a video about it. and I'm going to get a lot of views because this camera just came out. Fast forward to 225. Do you think anybody is watching that 6-year-old video? No, because it's about a product that has been replaced several times over. So that is what I call not evergreen. Okay, that video is, you might get a few more views along the way. People, picked one up in a secondhand shop and want to learn how to use it. So you might get a few, but it's going to drastically taper off the older the camera gets. So what I call evergreen videos are ones that are not about a new product. Maybe it's about a different product or a different way of doing something that will still be relevant in 10 years. Like the cooking channels, for example, cooking videos, how to make a roast. People are going to watch that forever because as these young girls grow up, they don't know how to make a roast. Well, so they grow up and then their daughters come up, they don't know how to make a roast. So you see where I'm going with that? It's like that video is evergreen because people will keep coming back and watching it. I did a video on a lawnmower that every spring it goes through the roof. The lawnmower is still in production. It's still a viable current model, but even though that video is somewhat old now, every spring people are looking to buy that lawnmower, and so that video gets busy. Now in the fall and the winter, 0 views, right? So I think to get subscribers, you kind of have to have a blend of evergreen videos and not evergreen videos. Now, that's just my opinion. And, everybody in this room has got an opinion on how to get subscribers. But I think if you make all of your videos non-evergreen, you're doing yourself a disservice. But you also need to follow your passion. Because if you don't, making all these videos would get tiresome. So if you're not enjoying what you're talking about, nobody's going to want to listen to you anyway. So that's food for thought. If you're thinking of starting a YouTube channel, I really think you need to have a blend of, new products are always fun. I personally have a severe case of that gas, right? Gear acquisition syndrome. And I love getting new stuff and sharing it with you guys. I've been watching lately some older videos. They're not really older, they're new, but they're not on new products. Because these guys have been going to like Goodwill and Salvation Army and thrift stores and finding some ridiculously good buys. A guy got a Sony A6100 camera with a lens for $30. That's a ridiculously good buy. And so he shares these with people. And so I just wanted to throw that out there. Let's see what everybody else has to say. Randy's here. Hello, everyone. Randy, I've been loving your videos. I have that RX 100 Mark 7 is it has really, ever since I sold my G7X, that's what I'm going to replace it with eventually because it has a flippy up screen. The G7X did too, but I don't think it was the camera that the Sony is. I'm just going to throw that out there. Canon is supposed to be launching a new V family camera, and I'm waiting to see. We'll see. So far, Canon has left it. All my lenses, you can't see them, but all my lenses up there are Canon. But I'm really thinking about jumping ship. I do have one Sony camera, and I don't like it for vlogging. Number one, it's a flip out screen. I like flip up. So we'll see what Canon brings to the table. It may be interesting. I think it was the V10, was a complete and utter disaster. So I'm hoping that they got some new blood in there. They designed something new, and they'll have a new camera just for me. They said, Sly, we made you a camera. I'd be like, oh, so happy. Roy says, just to confuse things, today is Wednesday. Yes, Wednesday afternoon. Roy, that's when I'm on, Wednesday afternoon. So don't listen to the Tuesday or the Friday or anything. Wednesday afternoon. So you need to mark your calendar. Wednesday afternoon. So that's, most of the time I don't know what day it is. So thank you for correcting me. It is Wednesday in Australia. Scott says, I have a couple of YouTube channels, but they are very niche. Okay. So, and that's fine. If you're enjoying what you're doing, that's the main thing. Because if you're not, if you're just doing something because somebody thinks you should, or thinks, or if you have an idea that, hey, if I do this, my channel will grow exponentially. If I cover this subject, okay. Well, if it's not a subject you're passionate about, it's going to die out pretty quick. So when I told the guy I've been doing this for 4 years, he was shocked. He didn't know. And this guy is like 22 years old. Okay. Uh, Girlfriend, 2 kids. He has got a job, a family life. I mean, he's got a busy schedule. And so he wants to start a gaming channel. Okay, if that's something you're really passionate about and you can see you doing that for 5 years, playing that game, then by all means, start a gaming channel. But if you're wanting to talk about umbrellas and you really aren't into umbrellas, it's probably not going to be a hit. So that's just saying. But yeah, Scott, I would love to see your niche channels, but I don't know what they would be under. And Mr. Lazuka made it in. Hello, Sly and friends. Hello. How are you doing, sir? Up in Canada. We have Canada, we have Australia. We just, all around the world. I love you guys so much. You guys just make me smile. Every Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, doesn't matter what day it is. You guys just always make me smile. Lewis said, just wanted to say hi to the best fox of them all, Slyreader. We love you so much, family. Yes, yes. That's kind of why this excites me to do this every week, is because we are a family, and I hugely enjoy getting to see you guys. And it means so much to me that you take an hour out of your week, whether it's Tuesday or Wednesday, whatever day it is for you, and you spend it with me. And that means a lot. I'm very grateful. Randy says, funny you should say about new products and getting more views. The old products that I have done a while ago, I'm getting thank yous for making them. So, yeah, every once in a while, I will jump off the bandwagon, and I'll do something that has been around for a while. It doesn't really get very many views. When I do a newer product, because I'm kind of, when something first comes out, I'm kind of like, well, let's see how that goes. Okay. I jumped on the Ozbot bandwagon and ended up buying one of these. It's funny how everybody calls them Ozbots, but it's OBS BOT. So yeah. And it's a fantastic little camera, and I hugely enjoy that it's so mobile. I wish I could get the colors better on it, but the lighting was so absolutely horrible in that hotel room. It is what it is. So the whole thing, when you look through the videos, it's just like this yellow video just stands out, right? It is what it is. But I'm seriously thinking about going back to having the tripod and the cords and all that stuff. I think it might be a little bit better picture. I think this is perfectly adequate if this is all you have. But I'm thinking my actual camera is a better picture. I don't know. This isn't bad. And I love, love, love the fact that no capture card. You only have one cable. You don't have to have a dummy battery. I mean, it's very streamlined and sleek. I like that, especially where my cable management is concerned. And Miss Evelyn popped in. Hello, Scott and Sly and friends. Hope all are well. Hello, Miss Evelyn. How was your week? I just love that you come in every week. That just really makes my night. One of these days, I'm going to get a wild hair and I'm going to just get in the truck and just drive north and run into some people I might know. Randy says, I got the RX 107 secondhand open box from Best Buy in San Diego. Loving it. Adorama has one open box for less than 1,200. So I'm sure it'll sell pretty quick, but I've got that one bookmarked. And if I win the lottery or I get a windfall, then that camera might be mine. Randy says, I gave up on my Osbot Tiny 2 Lite. I'd rather have a point and shoot than a webcam. So, yeah, there's pluses and minuses to both. Like I said, with the camera, you actually have multiple cables and cords, run across the floor. You have to set up a tripod, yada, 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 right? When I got rid of the cameras, I got rid of the tripods. There is nothing now in front of my desk. Everything. I used to have like a mic arm and a tripod with the camera on it and all this stuff. There is nothing in front of my desk now. I had a pole a long time ago. When I first moved in, I put a pole over for my overhead camera. Well, now everything is mounted on that pole. So everything is coming down from the ceiling. The mic, the webcam, the Sony is up there. So I could put a regular camera on here and just flip the picture, but again, you've got the dummy batteries and the capture card and a lot of, 2 cables running. So, yeah, I don't know. It's a real, on this hand, not quite as good a picture, maybe, but less cables. And on this hand, maybe a little bit better picture, definitely more cables and a tripod and all that good stuff. So it's like, I don't know. It's, I don't know which way to go. I'm still up in the air. If this is acceptable, then I'll probably stick with this. One thing, if you're on a limited budget and you can only buy one or the other, I would hugely suggest getting a real camera. Now the action cameras will do webcam. I was not happy with the quality. I'm just going to throw that out there because I'm kind of picky. And it just wasn't, it looked like a webcam. It did not look like the pictures, like the video I get from when I'm filming with them. It goes into webcam mode, and I have a feeling it's like is there a 360? Is there a like less than 720? Right? That's kind of what it looked like. So I wasn't happy with it. So, but yes, if you're on a limited budget and you can only buy one camera, I would not get the Osbot because it has no versatility to it. You are literally tethered to your computer. It is a webcam. So there's that. My 2 cents. Yeah. Scott says, it might just be me, but the audio is cutting out about 80% of the time. Really? Okay. I don't know why it would be doing that. Thank you, Scott. Uh, okay, let's try something here. Okay, see if that fixed it. If it did, it was the crisp. I don't even really know why I have crisp on other than this computer runs when it wants to and it's running. So it kind of sounds a little bit like an air conditioner that's kind of far away. It's a very noisy, the PC is very noisy. The Mac makes no sound whatsoever, but the PC has got five fans, I think. No, six fans. Because it's got one out the back, two out the top, and three out the front. So it's got six fans running on it. And so, yeah, it gets a little bit noisy. Let me know if that fixed it. If the computer is bothering you guys, I can certainly turn it off. I normally do anyway, but I just forgot. Rainey says, well, here in San Antonio, I've gotten used to the speaker systems for fast drive-thrus that any sound cut out is normal. Yeah, those are awful, where you walk up and it's we have those here too, Randy. It must be a regional thing. Oklahoma, Texas, we get those too. My audio is fine, 113.35. Is that like your local radio station? And Mr. Cameron Jenkins here. How you doing, buddy? He's saying hey to everyone. Enjoyed your what do you call it? A podcast with Tom? That really, or you guys were talking about the old Sony camcorders. That is kind of what made me, the way your energy was, both of you, about that old camera, right? I mean, that was like, what do you say, 2013, 14, something like that. But you both have so much excitement and energy about it. If you love what you're doing, it doesn't matter what the content is about. Someone is going to find you, and someone is going to like what you're talking about as much as you do. So it's just, throwing that out there. Carlos made it. Your audio is fine on my end. Are you doing something with your lighting, Sly? No. Why? So, are you talking about the lighting behind me, or the lighting on me, or the camera, maybe? I am having a really hard time getting this camera to where I don't look dead. I think I look very, it looks fine on the monitor, but then when I watch it on YouTube, I look like a zombie. So not really sure what's going on with that. Again, maybe switching back over to the other camera and donating this one to my son. Scott says, okay, it may just be on my end. So I actually, the last time when I had all the guests on and everything, I was using wireless earbuds, Bluetooth, and there was just the very smallest lag of my voice. So I ordered a pair of the ones that you actually plug in, and Peter and I did a little test, and it solved the problem. So yeah, it could be your battery's about to die. When my battery gets low, my headphones start cutting out. And Roy says audio is fine. Randy says, now I hear the fan with crisp off. Okay, but is the audio better? Here, let me turn it back on. Okay, so now you should not hear the fan, but crisp is back on, and if it's making it cut out, let me know, and I'll just turn it off. It's not a big deal. Scott says, I reloaded and it's fine now. Okay. Cool. So maybe it wasn't the crisp. I'm not sure. Roy says, sorry, I was doing the books in the background. I was doing the books in the background. If you're doing books, see if you can cook them just a little bit and buy us all a Sony RX-7. Yeah. Okay. Randy says audio is better with crisp on. Okay. Well, then I'll just leave it on. Scott says crisp is amazing. It really is. That PC is, I don't notice it until I'm trying to get a room that is completely quiet. Um, and I turned it on for something. I don't even know what I turned it on for now. But normally I turn that off because it is so loud. So, yes, it is kind of amazing. Um, there's not really any other, there's no one else here, so there's not really any noise going on right here. Um, so I shouldn't need it, but here, just turn this off really quick. Maybe. Yeah, maybe not. Well, there it goes. Silence. All right. That'll shut up. It'll quit running. Eventually. It has to go through its I'm turning off thing, and I'm going to take a few minutes. Um, Carlos says, your lighting and color looks better than ever. Oh, well, thank you. I do like to play with the colors back here. Like, I had them green for St. Patrick's Day, and for Easter, I'll probably throw some pink in there, some pink and green and blue, and you know. So I do like playing with it. Um, I don't want it to always be the same. That's one of the reasons I love those lights, is you can make them any color you want to. So, but thank you. Um, I think, okay, so this was one of those uh things last Tuesday. The Osbot Center is what it's called, is different on the Mac Mini than it is on the MacBook Air. So when I pulled it up, it didn't have all the little icons were not the same. And I was kind of lost because I have spent some time going through these, all the different settings and what you can do with it, um, on the Mac Mini. And so when I got to the hotel and I opened up the laptop and plug everything in, and it looks completely, it's a completely different. I think they call it something different too. Um, I was just like, oh, wow. And then on top of that, the room was very, very, very dark. And I had every light on. And it was still very dark. And I had the two Ulanzi, the blow up lights. And it was still very dark. So I tried to play with it as much as I could and still go live at 9 o'clock. But I'm going to have to spend some time because I am getting ready to take some trips, and I'm going to have to spend some time learning the version for the Mac, or just use the camera in the laptop. I mean, it seemed to do an acceptable job. So, and I think it looked better than the Osbot, but that's just me. Randy says, if I do not like the coloring on one monitor or TV, I just go to another one that satisfies me. Well, so Peter's 2 cents about this is the only monitor on the planet that shows the actual correct colors is his iPad. So I have 4 monitors to choose from, and if I look the same on all the monitors, and then when I pull up YouTube, whether it be on the PC or the Mac or whatever, and I look dead, then I'm thinking it may be YouTube. I don't know. I don't know what they would be doing to me, but Lewis says, I checked about that. I think you downloaded the iPad app. You just need to download the Mac app for the laptop. Oh. You knew it was going to come down to user error. When has it not? And that's fine. Thank you. I didn't know that there was a separate. I mean, I just went to the Osbot thing and downloaded. I thought what. So thank you for checking that out, because, yeah, it's completely different and it threw me for a loop. So I will uninstall that. But you know, I don't want to say I was in a hurry because I started at like 7 trying to get everything set up, and I thought 2 hours would be plenty, and obviously it was not. So learned my lesson. Roy says the Ozbot looks great. Pity I got a webcam and mounted it on an arm and had to write my own tracking software. Got a webcam and I mounted it on, not my arm, an arm, and had to write my own tracking software. So this, I have it turned off right now. I can turn this on. It's annoying. That's what it does. It kind of like breathes. And as you move, it tries to recenter the picture. As you move back, it recenters the picture. So personally, I find that annoying and distracting. So I just turn that off. And then it's going to go back to the way I had it. So I think if I tried the Tiny Light 2 that Randy had, it would completely blow my mind because of all the moving that it does. And if you're up and you're moving around, I think that's great. But like when I do my backpack videos, everybody wants to see them on me. And so I get up and I'm standing back there. Well, guess what? This little camera will actually follow me back there. And it focuses and everything. So it's kind of like having somebody behind the scenes. But I think if it actually like followed me around the room, it would probably drive me crazy. I don't know why that's on. So, you know, things turn on and turn off and what have you. Okay, so Lewis says the Ozbot Control Center. So here it says Ozbot Center at the top of the thing. On the other one, I think it said something different. But all of the things, like along the everything that I'm used to was different. So there's that. Randy says Apple monitors are display 3 to match the colors. Most TVs have reddish tint and others more yellow, so I use all PC and Apple monitors on display P3. Okay. Um, I don't know, Randy. These 4 monitors are so close to each other, it's not funny. Now on the PC, I think one is plugged into, no, both of them are plugged into, it's got initials, I think. It's not a display port, it's the other one, where it looks like it's an HDMI plug, but one side is cut off. Can't think of what that's called. On the Mac, I have to get a little bit more creative because it only has one HDMI port. So I have one of those OWC power hubs. And so it's plugged in via that. And when you first turn the computer on, one screen comes up, I think just split second before the other one. Now, once you're running it, both screens seem to do the same thing at the same time. But it seems like it takes just a split second for it to come up. But as far as the colors, you know, little man will be on this computer and I'll be on this one. And we can watch the same show and everything is the same color. So they're pretty dadgum close. But YouTube, I don't know what it was, but I did it when I first got the Ozbot. I did a bunch of practice runs, and I would look great, and the color would be great, and then I would look at it on YouTube, and I'd be like, "What in the chicken? Why do I look like a zombie?" So I don't know. I'm hoping I didn't watch last Tuesday's. So I'm hoping that that has fixed itself. I'm not sure. But if you guys don't think I'm looking like so pale that I'm dead, then it's fixed itself. Or maybe when I was playing with something, it's very, very possible that I hit the wrong button. You know, that's I've been known to do that. So, um, so that was my week. How has your guys' week been? Any ups and downs and that you want to share? Randy says, well, I may have to reinstall Ecamm Live Pro because the new update, which brings the version to 4.4.1, is crashing. See, I am following the Ecamm community on Facebook, and there have been a lot of people talking about that. So now, when they are complaining, it has to do with Zoom. Every post I've read, the new 4.4.1 and Zoom do not appear to like each other. And apparently a lot of people use Ecamm with Zoom. I don't, so I can't speak to that. But yeah, so far I have not updated because it usually asks me on Tuesday, and there is no way on the face of this planet that I would update anything on a Tuesday. Because everything would crash and then I would be panicking. And I like to, when I see you guys, I like to come in and I'm pretty stress free. So leave the stress at the door and don't have me update the computer or the program or anything on a Tuesday. I might do it on let's see, Wednesday wouldn't work for Roy. So I might do it on Thursday. Carlos says, watched your video earlier, MV7 Plus, Randy, like what you're doing. Yeah, I really was impressed. I was not, it's funny, Randy, I wasn't that impressed with the Leica. I don't know how much that camera cost, but I like the Sony better. I think it was a very sharper, clearer picture. The Leica seemed a little soft. So, I think I was watching that on my phone. So bear in mind, it's a little bitty screen, but I think I watched that one on my phone. So, but I really do like that Sony camera. Randy's saying to Carlos, practice, practice, and more practice makes perfect. Thank you. Yes. But you do it with so much ease now, Randy. When you very first started, you were a little stiff, and probably your first 50 videos were a little stiff. And now you have relaxed and you look like you're having fun. You know what you're talking about. And so your videos are so much more enjoyable to watch than probably the first 20 or 30 that came out, because you have loosened up. And so you're just like, okay, even when stuff goes wrong, like the Osbot tiny light 2s or tiny 2 lights or whatever, where they were both moving when you first unboxed them. You just took it in stride and you didn't get upset by it. And so your relaxation makes other people relax. So you are doing a good job. Roy says, Leicas are more about bling and engineering these days. Well, yeah, there's that. And, I know they're expensive, but I'm really about small, portable, gets the job done. It was fun, and I can't remember who made the video. Somebody made a video on the. Oh, it was Doc Rock. Made a video on the Action Camera 5, and he's in Hawaii, right? Hawaii's got a lot of sun, and he was talking about, yeah, it's a little blown out, but at least I'm making content, and what have you. Well, the 5 when you compare, okay, so here's the 4, here's the 5. Probably need to switch them. So, but anyway, um, the 4 is my daylight camera. It takes a stupid, ridiculously good picture in daylight, like full sun. The 5 in full sun exists exact same, like on a bar, and comparing apples to apples here. The 5, the picture is blown out. Like the clouds won't look like clouds. It'll just be white up there. And like a brick building, you can't see the bricks. But with the 4, you can see the clouds, you can see the bricks. So it's just, the 5 also does not record well in 1080, which is usually what I set everything to, is 1080. And I have to crank it up to, I think it's 2.7. So they are very different cameras. And I don't think it's just the ones that I personally have, because a lot of people are saying the same thing. So there is ND filters you can put on them, and but if you're, and if the 5 is the only camera you have, then you're going to find a way to make it work, right? But because I have one of each, the 5 is my nighttime camera and the 4 is my daytime. So now I will say, Randy just made a video on a small rig grip for his Sony. Because why don't they put a grip on those cameras? That is insane. How are you supposed to hold a camera that's got like a slick side? I would drop it. But small rig. I have on these 2 small rig cages. Now, they say that the 3, 4, and 5s are interchangeable. They are not. The 5 is just ever so slightly bigger. And it's like micrometer reading time, but it is ever so slightly bigger. So my older cage, and these are supposed to be the same exact cages. The older one that I got when I got the 4 fits the 4 perfect. But when I tried to put the 5 in it, it would close under duress. And I didn't really want that much pressure on my camera. So I ordered another one just to see if maybe they have made it just a little bigger somewhere. Because it's not like it's enough of a size difference to where if you put the 4 in this newer cage, it's going to rattle around. It's not. It'll be just a smidge. I don't even want to say loose, but the newer cage is a smidge bigger than the older cage, because the 5 fits in here. It's not a tight fit, so you don't feel like your camera is constantly being squeezed. And in the older cage, the 5, I mean, you had to push hard to get it to close, and then it was extremely hard to open. And these things should be pretty easy. I mean, like, they just pop open. So did I do that on camera? There's a little button up here, and it just pops open. And that's what it should do. But when you put the 5 in here, it was like pulling teeth to get that thing to open. And the new one is, it is, I don't ever take it out. It is a little stiff. You kind of have to push on it, but it is not near as tight as that other one. So, and it closes real easy. So it's not putting pressure on the camera. But yeah, I just have all these little, because I use these things almost every day. They go everywhere with me because they're so portable. And I don't know why I had that on for storage. So everybody was talking about you need to have a lot of extras of these. These go with me almost every day. I get them out at some point almost every day, and I've never broken one of these. So I don't know why you would want to have extras, but The reason it was on the side is because I keep one, I can't get it off. I keep one on the little selfie stick. So it doesn't matter which camera I grab, uh, it just fits right on there and I'm good to go. So the hardest thing for me, because I mean, they look identical. So the hardest thing for me is seeing that little 4 or that little 5, just to know which one to grab. But one of the things that I like about the small rig that the others need to take a lesson from is if you look at this top part, okay, and the 4 is the same, okay. So if you look at this top part, the button is right here, and it's a big button, right? Everybody else puts their cold shoe right smack in the middle of the camera, like right there. And what that does is when you put, let's say you put a light or something up here, okay? Now, and this is not a good example, but I don't have one of the bigger lights. But if you put a light up here in the cold shoe on one of the other cages, it's very hard to push this button, and that's your record button, right? So by putting it off to the side, now you have access to the record button, unfettered, right? So small rig, that, I mean, there's so many people out there that make cages for the action cameras now. But if you look at them, they all have the cold shoe right smack in the middle, except for the small rig. And that was genius. Whoever designed that, my hat's off to you. So give kudos where kudos are due, right? Um, Randy says the first 20 or 30 is in a far, far galaxy. Yeah, that was a long time ago. It's funny, I go back and look at some of my first like 4 videos, and yeah, they were a hoot. That was fun, good times. Roy says dynamic range is too often overlooked. So there is something um, on the 5 that everybody complains about, and I think it has to do with dynamic range, because that's what everybody gripes about, is you can't turn it off. And so I imagine when the 6 comes out, they will have fixed that, because that is like a universal complaint. And I think that's what's blowing out the clouds and the bricks and all that. But and you can't turn it. Randy suggested turning something down. And so one day I was sitting out here on the back patio. It was a very bright day. And so I'm just playing with it just to see if I can get it even close to the 4, and I never could. So, yeah, I played with the ISOs and the aperture, and I never could get the clouds to show their definition. At one point, I've got a privacy fence that goes across the back. I have a privacy fence, and across the back, you couldn't hardly, I mean, you could if you really like looked at it close and tried to pick it out, but the fence just looked like one big panel. And with the 4, it showed everything. Now, the flip side of that is if I turn off all the lights in my living room and just have this little tiny, tiny light, which goes over here on the side. This is like, Ulanzi is another one of my favorite companies, because they think of stuff that just works. And that's what I like. I like it to just work where I don't have to re-engineer it. Anyway, they have this little tiny light, and I can go into my completely dark living room with just this little tiny light, and you can see everything behind me. Like, this thing in the dark is amazing. So, but you know, it kind of depends on what you're wanting to shoot. I don't shoot just during the day. I don't shoot just at night. So I like having 2 of them. But I know a lot of people, don't want to buy two cameras. If I could only buy one, I think most people shoot more in the daylight, so I would probably get the 4. But I'm hoping when the 6 comes out, it fixes all that. And of course, you know who's going to have a 6? This girl. Roy says engineers love to change things just for change's sake. I honestly believe that, and I really, I'm kind of, I've hit the autumn of my life, right? And in the spring and summer, I have learned that a lot of times engineers will sit down and design a product that they've never used, like the cold shoe being in the middle. Whose idea was that? You have to be able to get to this button. This is your record button to start and stop. So you have to get to this button probably multiple times a day. Why would anybody put a cold shoe where whatever you put on there, whether it's a microphone or whatever, is going to be where you can't reach that button? I I just, some of these backpacks, um, and I have sent I have scads of backpacks, but I have sent a tremendous amount back because either they were completely uncomfortable. Who designs those? When you're designing them, don't you try them on? I don't think they do. I think they just sit at a drawing board or a computer now, and they just, okay, this strap's going to be 2 inches wide. This strap's going to be, they're going to be a certain width apart. And do you ever, do they ever try these out before they just send it off to be produced? I mean, yeah, I think there's a lot of products out there. I don't think it's just backpacks. I think there's a lot of products out there that are either a copy of something. Um, the tech bags, these tech pouches, are a fantastic example of that. Um, Somebody found a good tech pouch that people seem to like, and everybody started making theirs just like it. And I think most of them, so there's one that everybody loves. It's a brand name that everybody loves. I don't like it. It is my least favorite. So, um, one of these giveaways, that pouch is going in the giveaway because everybody else seems to love them. I don't. I think the material on the outside, this is my favorite. It's made by a company called Trip Travel Gear, and I like the material on the outside. It's not that the inside is that much different from the Tom Talks or hardly anybody. The only one that I can think of that has a distinctly different inside is the Wandered. Uh, and they have, I'll show you what I'm talking about. So all the tech pouches, this one doesn't have anything in it, I don't think. Um, all the tech pouches look like that for the most part. They all have this accordion thing going on. They all have the dividers. I mean, they all pretty much look the same. They may add a pocket here or there, um, but they all pretty much are the standard shape and they're the standard inside. I've probably got 50 of these. So trust me, I know what I'm talking about. Who came up with that? Because I had to buy a huge toiletry bag to get all my live streaming stuff in there. It fits perfect. It's a lot bigger than this, but it fits perfect. So now I realize people probably don't carry around a full-fledged microphone. So that wouldn't fit in here. Believe me, I tried because this is my favorite. But I guess it just depends on what you carry. So, um, the toiletry bag works best for me because I've got a travel hub, I've got a big microphone, uh, and cords and cables will fit in any of these bags. But when you start putting a microphone stand and the microphone and the travel hub and the mouse, you're talking a lot of bulk. So the toiletry bag has worked better than anything. But you're right, Roy. It just sometimes I think engineers just want to change one or two things just so they can maybe not get a patent strike thing. Whereas if they change, yeah, it is that bag, but we changed this, so now it's no longer that bag. Well, it was that way for a reason. You weren't supposed to change it, you know. So I don't know. That's just my opinion. But I have noticed that a lot of I've gotten so many bags that I'm having trouble finding ones that are different. That's kind of why I like the Wandered bag, that one, because it's kind of different from the rest of these. I try to find bags that are not like anything I have up here, right? And a lot of bags are this fall, like the Fall Raven, are this style, which is not one of my favorites because it's got the storm flap on it, and it's really hard to do the zippers around the corners with that storm flap. But I've tried to get all different types, and I'm well, I because I look at bags almost every day, and it's like I already have that style, I already have that style, I already have that style. Somebody, excuse me, is Chris on? Yay! Somebody will come up with a new style before it's all said and done. And but I don't know who it will be. A lot of them are trying to gear them to business people. If you guys carry a laptop, more power to you. I hate carrying a laptop. It makes the whole bag stiff. I took my, it's back there somewhere. I took my Corsair on vacation, and it was great until I put the laptop in, and then it just all of a sudden it just became really stiff. Now, I also have a really big keypad, like a big keypad um, keyboard, because I I don't really care for my laptop. Are you getting the drift here? I have an external mouse because I don't like the little touchpad thing, and I have an external keyboard because I don't like to type on their keyboard. Um, so, but it it's a necessity if I'm going to go live remotely. So I have to put up with it. I much, much, much prefer the desktop. But one moment. I mowed the yard today, not thinking it was Tuesday. I try not to do too much on Tuesdays. But I got the weeds were just out of control. So I got out and I pushed my little mower around, and I think the grass is irritating my throat a little bit. But guys, thank you so much for coming in. And if you came in and you didn't say anything, and you're lurking, well, hello to you too. But please do say something next time because I'd like to know who's here and give you a shout out. So I have a feeling I have two children watching that haven't said anything unless they've fallen asleep. But thank you guys so much for spending your Tuesday night, Wednesday afternoon with me. And we'll see you next time. We'll do this again. And keep making those videos, guys. Carlos, Randy, you are just, I love watching your guys' videos. I always learn so much from Carlos. Um, and you inspire me. And they're fantastic. And Randy, you always have the coolest stuff, right? Between you and Lewis, it's kind of like, uh, watching Tom Buck. Every time I watch him, I end up buying something. Oh, Roy, that was so sweet. Thank you so much. Um, Randy says, bye to everyone. Have a great week. And Roy gave me a $10 super chat. Thank you so much, Roy. That really means a lot to me. Um, I don't know that I'll ever make it to Australia. I would certainly go if I could. But thank you, thank you, thank you. If you ever get stateside, I don't care where you're going. I will find a way to meet you. So, and look who made it in the room. Mr. Greg finally woke up. Hello, Peter. Good nap. I will see everybody next Tuesday. And I hope you all have an absolutely wonderful week. And I'll probably see most of you Friday night at Peter's and Saturday night at Lewis's. So I think everybody in here, if there's somebody watching that hasn't said hi, um, Roy says, I was hoping no one would notice. No way. No way. We want that to give you a huge shout out, a huge thank you. That's a big deal, Roy. But I think everybody in here comes into Peter's on Friday and Mr. Camera Junkie on Saturday. So 9 o'clock Eastern time on both of them. So I'm the only oddball. But guys, thank you again so much. You guys mean the world to me. And I will see you guys next Tuesday. Good night, everybody.